Hello and welcome to the Ninqueso Exploring Japan channel, where I am on a journey to explore Japan and find out everything that I can, really. At the moment, from the comfort of my sofa, but you never know what the future holds. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at the Shinto and Shinto Shrines, because obviously we see like torii gates a lot, and like on the videos of walk around of Japan, I've seen a lot of these shrines. But as to the actual beliefs and everything behind these, I know absolutely nothing. So that is what I'm going to learn today. So let us jump into this video and learn about, is it Shintoism? That's what the video's called.
Is a torii gate, one of the most recognizable symbols of Japan.
I even had one in Animal Crossing.
This electric mouse.
Yay, Pikachu!
Torii are also a sacred gateway in Shintoism, the indigenous religious practice of Japan. Even with an over 2,000-year history, Shinto has never been easy to define.
Well, that's not going to help me much, is it? I like easiness. I like boom, boom, boom. This is what it is. Okay. I feel sorry for the poor little person painting the torii gate back there, who's now dangling. It's not too far to fall. You should be all right.
The word Shinto wasn't even used much until the 17th century.
Okay.
But Shinto has its own shrines, priests, gods, and rituals. Everything you'd expect from a religion. But today, while over 80% of Japanese people participate in Shinto practices, only 3 to 4% identify themselves as believers in Shinto. And many Japanese people...
That's interesting. Is it just kind of like habit? See, I don't even know what these rituals and practices are. I like the little statues. I like foxes. I thought they were cats at first glance, but they're not cats. They look like foxes to me.
Practice Shinto alongside Buddhism without any sense of contradiction. So, what is Shinto?
Yes, that is what I'm here to find out.
Why are sumo wrestlers so salty? And what can the god of...
Isn't the salt to purify the ring before they commence the whatever the word is, the sumo match? We'll go with that.
Hair do for you? Well, let's find out. In the beginning, there was nothing but formless chaos.
I don't think it looked like
eons,
that, though.
The lighter particles of this chaos rose and became heaven.
Is this like their creation story? Or is this just going way further back than we need to go?
And the heavier ones fell and formed the earth, which was then a muddy ocean. Between these realms, 3 heavenly beings, or kami, formed. They were
I'm guessing this is their creation story. The kami, 3 kami,
followed
okay.
by 7 more generations of kami. The 7th generation of these kami were a man and woman pair known as Izanagi and Izanami, who descended down to give form to the earth. Izanagi and Izanami took a heavenly spear and stirred up the ocean below, which created an island, the first land. Izanagi and Izanami decided to live on this island and very soon felt the need to have children. So they got down to making babies the good old-fashioned way, by erecting a large ceremonial pillar and performing a marriage ritual by walking around the pillar in opposite directions, and when they met on the other side, Izanami greeted Izanagi first, which resulted in the birth of a boneless and limbless child, who they then very quickly put on a boat and pushed off into the sea. But don't...
I'm very confused. I'm very confused.
worry, he turns out mostly fine. He grows some bones, he becomes the kami of good luck and fisherman, and even has his own brand of beer now.
Nice.
They decided to give the ritual another go, with
Are you telling me the ritual went wrong?
Izanagi speaking first, and from this union the islands of Japan were born, along with
that has got to be painful. Sorry.
More kami such as the kami of wind, the kami of mountains, and the kami of grass. Finally, Izanami gave birth to the god of fire and died because, well, she had just given birth to a baby made of fire.
I can imagine
Izanagi,
that wouldn't be good.
Killed the baby, cutting it up into pieces, which then became the volcanoes of Japan, and some other kami like the dragon Watatsumi and the storm god and first sumo wrestler Takemekiruchi. Also at this point there was some human waste kind of just lying around, and from that some more kami were born, like the adorable clay kami couple Haniesu Hiko and Haniesu Hime. An obviously sad and lonely Izanagi
Yeah.
wanted to see Izanami again, and so he descended to Yomi, the gloomy, polluted,
I've heard of Yomi. That's like the underworld, isn't it? I've only heard of it because there was a game called Trek to Yomi. And it was about going into the underworld.
world. He found Izanami
Told
down
ya.
there, and when he shone a light on her, he saw that his wife was a decaying, rotten corpse.
Oh dear.
Izanagi bolted, which enraged Izanami,
Oh,
who
no.
sent an army of demons after him. But as he escaped the underworld, he sealed the door with a giant boulder, protecting
Like
the
you
living
do.
world from the world of death. The obviously furious Izanami cursed him and promised to kill 1,000 people a day in revenge. Izanagi promised to make sure that 1,500 people were born every day. Izanagi, covered in the pollution from the underworld, wanted to purify himself, so he found the river to perform misoyi, or purification. As he washed, kami were born from the clothes he took off, and from each
Kami just seemed to spring up from absolutely everywhere. I still don't quite get what Kami is.
part of his body that he washed. Finally, he washed his face. When he did this, he created the most important kami, called the Three Precious Children. From washing his left eye came Amaterasu Omikami, kami of the sun. From washing his right eye came Tsuyomi no Mikoto,
Kami of the moon.
kami of the moon. And from washing his nose came Sano no Mikoto, kami of storms.
Okay.
This is a simplified version of the Japanese creation story as told in the
I'm going to guess it's very simplified.
oldest surviving texts of Japanese history and myth, the Kojiki and the Nihonsuki.
Because I can honestly say I don't think I know any kind of creation story other than the ones that we have over here. It's like nothing about creation story from like the Asian cultures is even like mentioned to my knowledge in this country in education. At least it wasn't when I was occasionally at school. To be fair, I didn't really go very often, so you know they might have like explained these things just when I wasn't there.
Written in the 8th century. This story introduces us to some of the most important aspects of Shinto, such as kami and
But
purification.
what are kami?
We don't know much about Shinto's origins because Shinto has no founders like the Buddha, no prophets like Muhammad, or holy books like the Bible that tell us how it started. But archaeological evidence suggests that practices which could be called Shinto, like the worship of nature spirits in sacred spaces,
Okay.
first appear in Japan
See, nothing wrong with worshipping nature. We need to nurture nature. It's all good.
and in the Yayoi period around 300 BCE to 300 CE.
There's a kami
The
hiding in
word
there.
Shinto comes from these two Chinese characters. Shin, which means God or spirit, the native Japanese word for which is kami, and this character, Do, which means way. This Do or way is the same as the one in Taoism and tells us a lot about Shinto. It's a way of life,
To be fair, I know nothing of Taoism as well.
a practice, more concerned with rituals and community than with belief, faith, or moral codes. Literally, Shinto is the way of the gods, or in Japanese, the way of the kami. But
Ooh,
what exactly
Birdman.
is a kami?
Exactly,
Kami.
we need to know this.
To put it simply, Shinto is the worship of kami. The typical translation of kami into English is god or deity, but that's not a great translation. Kami can be spirits of the landscape,
Okay.
forces of nature, and the
So, okay, so the more, from what I'm guessing, they're more like assigning a spirit or deity kind of thing to things that are in nature, like the volcano, the wind, the grass, that kind of stuff. Is that, am I on the right kind of tracks here?
spirits of dead ancestors. Anything in this world that fills you with a sense of wonder or awe can be a kami. It
Okay.
isn't difficult to see how the ancient Japanese, living in a wondrous world of massive live volcanoes, surging rivers, powerful waterfalls, and vast forests, felt that they lived in a
Yeah,
world
I can imagine that must have really shaped like the beliefs back then, with the fact that they're on like, because Japan has like the highest, does it have one of the highest concentration of active volcanoes, and obviously they're on the fault line as well, so they've got earthquakes and everything. Like some big bad stuff happens very occasionally.
world that was fully alive and aware and inhabited by kami. In Shinto, the physical world itself is sacred, worthy of respect, and you can have
Good.
a relationship with it. So kami can be godlike, such as the sun goddess Amaterasu, But the concept also extends to other natural phenomena like mountains, rains, foxes, and earthquakes. Small
That explains the foxes in the statue. Can cats be kami, please? I hope so, because they fill me with wonder. I love cats.
pox has a kami, and so does fertility, and growth, and rice, and even hair has its own humble kami. In Shinto, there is no one all-powerful god, and instead the universe is watched over by the harmonious cooperation
I've seen these pictures in Animal Crossing. I never really knew what they were, but I've definitely seen these pictures.
of the kami who live in this world alongside humans, and generally want them to be happy and prosperous.
That's nice.
It's a cycle of reciprocity. Humans respect.
See, that's what your deity should be. Want you to be happy and prosperous, not punish you for all eternity if you don't believe in them. Because that's a bit harsh.
The kami, and the kami take care of the humans. Kamis are expressions of musubi, which is the creative energy of the universe, and also a kind of spam-based sushi. But the spiritual, non-spam based musubi literally means to unite. It ties everyone and everything in the universe together, and so everything is interconnected.
Okay.
The landscape, nature, the kami, humans, all of them are considered to be always growing in the process of.
To be fair, humans are connected to everything in nature. It's kind of like if one thing goes out of balance, everything goes wrong.
Creation. Kami are not all powerful or all knowing, and are invisible and immaterial, but they can live inside certain objects in shrines. Kami can also have personalities. They can be beneficial or malevolent, and you can interact with them. This communication comes in the form of prayer and offering sacrifices such as food. The Japanese worship of kami
I'm pleased it's only food.
is a way to maintain a sacred relationship with their surroundings.
A lot of
some
Tony
kami, like
gates.
Inari, the kami of rice, are worshipped across Japan, many kami are deeply local, like the kami of a specific village, family, or waterfall, like the kami of Nachi Falls. A single individual tree might even have a kami. For example, when the Kayashima railway station needed to expand, locals protested against the chopping down of this tree because it housed a kami, and so the station
They
had
built
to
it
be
around
built
it. Good. I'm liking this, the whole fact that it's like respecting the nature, really, not just indiscriminately tearing things down for the sake of progress.
Failing to perform the correct rituals or disrespecting kami can lead to punishment called shinbatsu, usually in the form of illness. Most kami are good, but some kami, like the Magatsuhi no kami, the kami of disaster, are essentially destructive and cause misfortune. But luckily, Naobi no kami, the kami of undisaster, is tasked with cleaning
I'm guessing that's one of those not quite translatable words.
up after Magatsuhi no kami's destruction. There are also the yokai, weird and wonderful, mischievous monsters that pop up in Japanese mythology. These can range from terrifying.
Oh, it's a Shinto playing cat. Is that a Shinto thing? I don't know. It's a cat playing something.
Soul-devouring demons down to the tofu kozu, a baby with a massive head that follows you around, constantly offering you tofu.
I want tofu from a giant-headed baby. Man.
There are said to be 8 million kami, which is just the Japanese way of saying an uncountable
lot.
amount.
A
Some
lot.
important humans can be considered kami both before and after death. Like Tenjin, a 10th century scholar who was so smart that he became the kami of academics after dying, and who worried students will pray to for luck in passing exams.
Okay.
Or like the Emperor of Japan, who from the Meiji period was considered a live-in kami until renouncing his divinity after Japan's surrender in the Second World War. Purity. If anything can be called the central ritual of Shinto, it is purification.
And that's
Referred to in
getting
general
yourself
as
wet, I
harai,
guess.
The purpose of purification is to remove spiritual pollution, which is called tsumi or kegarai. This pollution is anything that separates someone from the creative musubi nature of all kami. Kegarai polluters include things like death, disease, filth, and blood, while tsumi involves actions like crime, murder, disrespecting your parents, and not smickety smashing the lickety like button.
They've got to get a shameless plug in somewhere, don't they? But if you don't want to subscribe to my channel, I'm not forcing you to, but if you do.
Pollution is only temporary in Shinto, and humans are not considered naturally impure, so it's not like sin in other religions. Shinto doesn't actually preach you any ethics, and it has no reward-based heaven or punishment-based hell. In Shinto, nature is inherently good, and impurity is an abnormality that can be cleansed with a ritual. Impurity must be removed,
and that requires washing from... Is that like washing at a Shinto shrine?
Like kami in rituals or prayer. That's why at the entrance of almost all Shinto shrines, you'll see a tank of water with wooden ladles.
It's water. There's a tea in there, mate.
People use this to perform a form of harai called timizu. You wash your left hand, then your right hand, and then you pour water into your hand and use that to rinse out your mouth. Don't drink from the ladle, and for the love of Amaterasu, don't spit the water back into the basin.
Why would you? That's gross. Who would spit the water back into the basin?
More extreme versions of harai are called misoyi. Misoyi includes bathing in the ocean or even standing under a waterfall. Harai can also be performed with salt. In that case, it's called shubatsu. You can see this purification happen at the beginning of a sumo match, when the salt is spread around the ring to keep out impurity. One other form of purification ritual involves waving a wand or a harigushi over the thing being purified, like a person or even a new car, or over a...
How common is that? To get your priest down to wave his wand over your new car? I mean, I've not had a lot of luck with cars, so maybe that's why.
Plot of land before construction begins to purify it and bring good fortune. Shrine.
Right. I think this is quite a long video, so I think I'm going to end it here for now. But I will come back with a part 2 to find out about the shrines and everything, because at the moment it's been quite interesting. Like I say, I didn't know anything about this whatsoever. I've just seen like the shrines or the torii gates and things in like videos of walkthroughs around Japan, and I just thought I wanted to know more. But yeah, that was a video by Kogito. So if you did like their video, go over to their channel and hit that like button, and you can watch it all there without me getting in your way as well. But hopefully you enjoyed my video, and if you did, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe as well if you want to see more of my journey to learn about Japan. But thank you so much for making it through to the end of the video, and until next time, just be nice to people. Bye.